Hi there, I'm Alisa, and I don't know, sometimes I just want to speak English, and this urge inside me, it's tearing me apart, but it is kind of weird to suddenly speak English when you're like in Russia and when you're speaking to your Russian friends, but sometimes we do be like that, and we actually talk to people in English suddenly, but it's kind of, I don't know, cringy or something. So yeah, I'm not afraid of being cringe, but I decided to talk with you guys because you don't know Russian, so it's kind of makes sense to me to speak English with people who don't know Russian. So just stay with me for the next I don't know how many minutes. By the way, can you see my flowers? They're beautiful, right? One friend of mine gave me them, so they're really pretty, but it's not the topic of today's video. And the topic of today's video is Russian literature. Surprise! Maybe not a surprise, but yeah. I just want to tell you some things about Russian literature, and maybe I will open that secret door for you and you will suddenly understand Russian literature a little bit more. Or maybe not. I don't know. Like, I'm not a literature teacher or something. I'm not even a literature student or whatever. But I am a little bit of a writer myself. So maybe I can explain something. I'm not sure. Like, I'm I'm really not sure. But for some reason you decided to stay with me for this video, so let's continue. So what I really want to tell you about Russian literature is that Russian literature, especially like 19th century, 20th century, a lot of the times it's more about your soul and about the suffering, the great suffering of your soul. Sometimes it's more about your everyday life and so on and stuff like that, but listen, Russian writers, they really like to write about suffering. And I get it. And I think you get it too, because life is hard. Life is hard, and sometimes our life, it's not that pretty. It's not as pretty as these flowers. These flowers are they're beautiful. Like, look at this. And my friend, she told me that these flowers, they remind her of me. So yeah, pink, and yellow flowers. They're really beautiful. But yeah, our life, our world, human society, it is not as pretty as these flowers. Our society is kind of dirty and cruel, and sometimes it's just dark, and we feel so confused, and we're so consumed with our lives that we slowly forget about such things as love and kindness and friendship and what being a human means to us, but still, a lot of Russian artists and Russian writers, they decide to write about it, about this darkness. And the way they write it, it turns out to be something beautiful. Beautiful but dark. Dark but beautiful. And maybe bad is not the kind of word you want to choose for this description, but I mean, Russian authors, they're not afraid of this darkness. Or maybe some of them, they are afraid of this darkness, but they don't let this darkness steal their inspiration, steal their talent, steal their lives. And the way they write about our society, about this world, this human world, it makes them feel right. Like, sometimes you just can't feel right until you do something, until you create something. And I'm not talking about every Russian author who ever existed, no, but a lot of them. As I understand it, Russian writers, they just can't live without creating these poems and books and stories, even if they're sad, even if they so dark and so, even if they feel so lonely, and it just doesn't make sense if they don't write it. It's important for us to write as we feel, even if it's not as pretty as these flowers. So Russian literature, it's not always as pretty and clean and beautiful and pure as these beautiful flowers, but still, Russian literature is something important for those who read this literature, and it may also become important for you. So yeah, I hope it helps. I hope it makes sense. Even maybe not everything I said makes sense to you, but I tried my best. So bye bye.